Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all having a great day out there.
Oh, happy Sunday.
As always, want to thank everybody for their support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi.
We super appreciate it.
And you could become part of the family over there for as little as $1 a month. Actually, $10.80 when you pay for a year in advance. And there's at least twice a week, typically, sometimes more. There's exclusive content over there where we talk very, very clearly. And wow, there is a meltdown going on. Over 45 and perhaps 47s, or perhaps maybe we should just start saying number ones. Speech last night, right? Maybe number one. I mean, Cindy was like, yeah, I remember you saying that when I was saying, and I shared with you guys going back to 2017, that when the election was happening in 2016, I got all of a sudden almost ill, like right before the election, because I was getting the feeling that if Hillary got in there and Hillary was the selection, the control system was going to go a certain way, and it meant massive destruction right away. And that if our 45 became 45, we'd have more time. But what we would find is that we would end up with a new form of government, and it would be the end of the U.S. as we know it. And we have always spoken clear and consistent pretty much on how we feel about politics. We feel it's all controlled. We do not believe that the political system is free and clear and democratic, or whatever we want to use it for an adjective. This is all basically unfolding script, and I think that the script that they choose to go down as far as the different possibilities is all about statistical probability according to the AI algorithms, is really what it is. So this feels like we're going down a certain path, and I think I have an indication. I'm starting to get a more solid feeling of what that's going to look like, but let us just give you the info and you share what you see. So here you listen to this clip here, and let me roll this back and tell me what you get about it. And you might have already heard it.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm not Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. And again...
To me, I mean, that just sounds kind of crazy. And the immediate thought is it taken out of context? What was interesting is I'm looking at different people quoting this speech. And a whole bunch of people are saying, see, he said he's a Christian. And then other people are saying, no, clearly he says, I'm not Christian. And here you see this tweet says, he will be the first openly non-Christian president in the U.S. And that's interesting, isn't it? So what is he if he's not Christian? Well, the reality is, we look back to this article in 2020, and apparently he was Presbyterian in the past. Now in 2020, he said that he no longer identifies as a Presbyterian, but he sees himself as a non-denominational Christian. But wait a minute, he said, I'm not Christian. And then Cindy was like, yeah, but we didn't see the whole thing. We got to go back and see the whole. Well, here is that 58-minute plus speech. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit before.
A little bit before.
More they want to change that name too. How do you figure we're going to change the name of George? I figured he was the one that was safe. I also figured Abraham Lincoln was safe. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. We won 2 world wars out of certain forts, like Fort Bragg and other forts, Fort Lee, many forts. They changed the names of those forts. They changed their names. We left, they changed the names. No longer Fort Bragg. And the people in that area, they're not happy. But we won 2 world wars out of these forts. As an example, Fort Bragg, proud. We won 2 world wars. Let's change the name. On day 1, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children.
We're listening here to former President Donald Trump speak at this event in West Palm Beach, Florida. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. We continue with this next.
How far did we go before?
Okay, let's go look forward a little bit more. So, okay, he's talking about absentee vote on election day here.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. And vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm not Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. In conclusion, America has always been a nation won, built, and sustained by Americans of faith. It was faith that led the pilgrims to cross an ocean and settle this majestic continent. It was belief in our Creator that led the patriots to defend their liberties in the war for independence. It was faith in America's God-given destiny that pushed the pioneers to journey west, and it was trusting God that led generations of American believers to end slavery, defeat fascism and communism, and make this into the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. But now, we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, its...
So we can see. So he doesn't really go back and address that, you know. No. So how can you say it was taken out of context? Right. So I mean, you really kind of can't say that was taken out of context. And it was clear that he said, "I'm not Christian," but he's been interviewed before and said that he was Presbyterian. He's been interviewed and said, "Well, I'm not really a Presbyterian anymore. I'm a non-denominational Christian. I was brought up Presbyterian." But something obviously changed his mind, and he's no longer a Christian. And yet, you know, the religious right follows him to an extremely high degree, and he's obviously playing to that. Of course, it's where he is making the speech at and all. I think this is, in some ways, a test. This is what is coming to me. This is a test to see, even when they throw something out there that appears to be insanely out of left field, people will they're just testing to see how many are just going to blindly keep going along because they belong to one group. And what is your other choice? That's the other question. Well, in the system, it's all about, it's a shell game. It's all an illusion.
It was hard in listening to that clip about him talking to Christians and don't worry, you'll never have to vote again. I'm like poking my nose everywhere thinking this has got to be out of context. He must be mimicking Biden. He's got to be mimicking somebody else. This kid not have come out of his mouth for real. You'll never have to vote again. This is the last time we'll have it fixed so well. You'll never have to vote again. I mean, I was really taken back. I'm like, seriously? And people are just
say it. I mean, the reality is, this country is slated. I mean, Pluto return. This is the end of the country as we know it. It is the end of the country as we know it. Whether it's officially ended in 2024, 25, 26, 27, 28, or maybe by Agenda 2030 date, it's in its last legs, and they are going to bring in something different.
Right. And they're out blatantly telling people. And I think that people just, it's that cognitive dissonance, and that's, I guess, what I'm struggling with. I'm like, how bad is this cognitive dissonance? People heard what he said and they're okay with it. we'll have it fixed so good you'll never have to vote again. That's what really kind of got me, and I was trying to think, how is this taken out of context? This can't be real. But it is. So here we go. I mean, it's odd. It's weird.
And there's rumors that JFK Jr. has been guaranteed a spot in Trump's cabinet somewhere, perhaps Treasury as the Secretary. And it's interesting because I saw him a few days ago putting out a video saying that if he was to become president, he would buy a huge amount of Bitcoin to boost the dollar and to secure the dollar as having something that is a guarantee to solidify it. And here he is, and he says here, RFK Jr. says in this clip, Trump will soon announce that in his next term, he will authorize the federal government to purchase 1 million Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. This is huge. Crypto vote guaranteed. Interesting, because that is something that he has mentioned about himself. So is he going to be happy, and has this been the whole point all along, to at some point in time come together and work together? And I still don't think that 45 necessarily will be 47 for long. It feels like it's slated for JD in reality, and that is what Cindy had that vision of all those years ago. So, I mean, it's right in your face. How are people going to react? How are people going to handle it? People are going to be saying it's taken out of context because, they're so on board one train, and whether it's, the 45 or 46 or Harris or whatever it is, it's all one train. That's the thing. It's all one train. And people need to realize that this is all. It's a shell game. It's a house of cards. It's an illusion, and they are kind of they're beyond right now. I think they're testing their ability to mind control. Is what they are doing. They're testing their ability to mind control.
What it seems to me is one really large umbrella of MK Ultra just kind of opening up and covering the populace and seeing how many people they can trigger through what traumas and what they can get them to do, and always control through trauma. We cannot forget that. You're controlled through your trauma in such a huge way. And I understand if things have happened to you in your life and you don't want to go down that road again, you're going to be very defensive of it. But make sure that, it's legit, and make sure you're not just having a knee-jerk reaction out of trauma. Think through this. Whatever things happen to you to make you make different decisions, make sure it's solid, and it's not just something you're going through, on a whim. But that requires deep introspection. And the horrible part about that is the time to do the introspection. A lot of people don't have the time, but right now it's more critical than ever.
Absolutely. In so many ways, I really think they are playing with humanity and kind of saying how far they can push humanity. When you roll out a Biden that's three inches or more taller than the other ones, none of them, look that much alike, and many people are questioning, but not on an official level. Why is there nobody in Congress that's pointing this out? Well, it's because, again, they're doing all the insider trading. They're all rich. It's a rich club, and they're paid to take the role of being contrary to the existing structure on one side, and then they all switch.
I know. It's just, like you said, nothing official. No one out front is saying, why is he 3 inches taller? Why is this going on? And no one of any significance is up there saying that, and that's because everybody else is in on it. And guess what? They're playing with us. And until we understand that on a huge level, we're vulnerable. We can all get along. We really, really can, no matter how different we are. we have to take certain things and put them to bed and move forward where we can. You have to have a meeting of the minds somewhere, and you know, you got to look for the solution. If you look for the solution gets bigger. If you focus on the problem gets bigger. That's just standard. And it looks like these two have worked out a solution.
But at the same time, we shouldn't go looking for solutions to those that have given us the problems in the first place.
Good point.
Source bless and namaste, guys. We look forward to your comments.
Namaste.